Yes, a very good morning to all my dear students. Today, once again, on behalf of Mumbai Municipal Corporation Education Department, I welcome you all for the online education. Today, once again, we are going to revise the chapter number 18, that is Observing Space Telescope. Today, we are going to cover up the topics, that is the reflecting telescopes. What are the types of reflecting telescopes? What are radio telescopes? And what are giant meter wave radio telescopes? Okay, so let's begin with our today's chapter number 18, that is Observing Space Telescope. So before starting with our today's points, let us do a quick recap what we have learned yesterday. In the introduction of this chapter, we have seen that man has been curious about the sun, the moon, as well as the stars which are being seen in the sky. Okay, he was being very curious in observing the sky, in watching the stars, moon, sun, and everything. Okay, all these objects which we see in the sky, these are the stars, either they are the stars, the planets, or the other objects which we can see in the sky. They are called as the celestial objects. Okay, though man has always been observing the sky and mapped many stars and planets, astronomy, the branch of science which deals with the study of celestial objects, was greatly developed only after the invention of the telescope in the 17th century. Okay, as this curiosity was increasing day by day about watching the stars, the moon, the sun, and the other objects seen in the sky, so there was a need of developing some branch of science which can only deal with the study of these celestial objects. And this branch of science which study these celestial objects, it is called as astronomy. Then, what is the difference between sky and space? What is sky? Sky is the visible portion of the atmosphere and the outer space seen by simple eyes without any equipment from the earth. It is known as the sky. Okay, when you watch the sky, when you see in the sky, you can see it very easily, very clearly. You don't need to take help of any equipment. Okay, because it is the visible portion. It is the portion which we can see very easily. Okay, so that is called as the sky. Then what is space? Space is the infinite, limitless, three-dimensional expanse in which the solar system, stars, celestial bodies, galaxies, and endless universe exist. It is known as the space. Okay, what is space? It is the infinite. Okay, and it is limitless. It is not having any limit. It is three-dimensional expanse in which there are the solar system, there are the stars, the celestial bodies, different galaxies, and the universe exists in it. So it is called as the space. So do you know what is meant by space observation and why it is important? The study of stars, planets, celestial bodies, and galaxies with the help of appropriate instrument so as to understand its structure, extent, etc. It is known as space observation. Okay, what is space observation? When we study the stars, planets, and celestial objects or the galaxies, when we study them with the help of certain instrument. Why we need this instrument? So as to understand the structure and the extent of these celestial objects. So we need to take certain help of certain instruments. So it is called as the space observation. So space observation gives us the idea about the stars, comets, planets, and other celestial bodies around the earth. Okay, we can see the different objects which are being present in the sky more clearly. We can understand them, we can study them with the help of proper instrument. So that can be done only with the help of this space observation. Then we have seen that as man was being curious in observing the space, but he was not having a proper instrument to observe or to see to get the closer view of the stars and planets. So that was the difficulty at that time. Okay, so that was being solved with the help of some great scientists, out of which the first one, that is Hans Lippershey, he was the spectacle maker. In the year 1608, he discovered that when we arrange two lenses and if we arrange them in one behind the other, then we can get the closer view of the object. Okay, we can get the closer view of the object by arranging two or more lenses one behind the other so that we can get the closer view of the object. So this was the first statement, or this was the first discovery which was being made by a spectacle maker, that is Hans Lippershey. Then the great scientist, that is Galileo Galilei, in the year 1609, what he did, he made the telescope. Okay, and with the help of that telescope, he studied the space. Also, using his telescope, he realized that there are many more stars than what could be seen with the naked eyes. Also, using his telescope, he discovered the moon of the Jupiter and the black spots of the sun, etc. Okay, so this was a great achievement which was done only with the help of scientist Galileo's made telescope. Okay, that telescope which was being made by scientist Galileo, that made a great achievement in observing the different celestial objects in the sky. Then we have learned yesterday what is light. What is light? Light is an electromagnetic wave. Okay, and every wave has a characteristic wavelength. What is wavelength? Wavelength is the distance between two consecutive crusts or two consecutive troughs. Okay, so this distance which is being between the two consecutive means two adjacent crusts or two adjacent troughs. So every light has a proper wavelength. Okay, so can we see all types of light? No, we can see only the visible radiations, but there are many more electromagnetic waves of wavelength which are having different wavelengths. Okay, so what are the types of radiations? There are 7 types of radiations. Can we see all of them? No, we can see only the visible radiations. So which are these different types of radiations? The first one is the radio waves. Okay, what is their speciality? What is their characteristic? They are having a wavelength which is longer than 20 centimeter. Then there are the microwaves which are having the wavelength of about 0.3 millimeter to 20 centimeter. Then there are the infrared waves which are having a wavelength of about 800 nanometer to 0.3 millimeter. Then there are the visible light rays, means those light rays which we are able to see, which are being visible to us. So they are having a wavelength of about 400 nanometer to 800 nanometer. Then there are the ultraviolet rays which are having a wavelength of about 300 picometer to 400 nanometer. Then the X-rays having a wavelength of about 3 picometer to 300 picometer. And last, that is the gamma rays, which are shorter than 3 picometer. Okay, so these are the different types of radiations which are being emitted from the sky. Then, out of these different forms of radiations, our eyes are only capable of seeing the visible radiations. So, if we want to study these visible radiations, then we need to take the help of optical telescopes. Okay, these optical telescopes, they are being made from regular lenses, or in some of the cases, they are being made with the help of mirrors, and it is used to see the visible radiations which are coming from the space. Okay, so what are the optical telescopes? Let us see. Most of the optical telescopes, they are made with two or more lenses. Okay, there is the arrangement of lenses in case of optical telescopes. To collect the maximum amount of light coming from the heavenly objects, the objective lens should be made as large as possible. Okay, if we want to collect the maximum light, more amount of light, if we want to gather, if we want to collect it, so the objective lens, it should be made of a large size. Then, using the light collected by the objective lens, a smaller lens called as the eyepiece produces a large image of the source. Okay, the light which enters the objective lens, it is then passed on to a smaller lens that is called as the eyepiece, and from this eyepiece you can get the large image of the source. Okay, the light rays change their direction as they enter a lens from the atmosphere and again when they enter the atmosphere after passing through the lens. So this is called as a refraction, and hence such telescopes are also called as the refracting telescopes. Okay. What here in case of optical telescopes, the light rays, they change their direction twice. Okay, when they enter a lens, at that time they change their direction, and again when they move out from the lens into the atmosphere, then again they change their direction. So it is called as, this phenomena is called as refraction, and so these optical telescopes are also called as the refracting telescopes. Okay, so these are the characteristics of optical telescopes. But even though such telescopes are being useful for the space observation, they present certain difficulties. There are some difficulties in using these optical telescopes. What are the difficulties? The first one is the size of the lens is very large. Okay, large size of lenses are being used so as to gather more amount of light. Maximum amount of light can get collected together with the help of large size lenses, but it is very difficult to make this large size of lenses, and it is being very difficult to carry this heavy lenses. Okay, and we cannot get the clear image as well. Okay, if the size of the lens is large. So this is the first difficulty in using the optical telescope. Second is the length of telescope. It becomes difficult to manage. As I said, that the optical telescope is having the objective lens and a eyepiece, right? The objective and the eyepiece, they are placed at the opposite ends of the telescope. As a result, the length of the telescope, it gets increased, and because of this increase in the length, it becomes difficult to manage this type of telescope. Then third point is that the image formed by the lenses have error of colors, and this is called as the chromatic aberration. As the size of the lenses is being large, they create certain error of colors, and this error of colors, it is called as the chromatic aberration. So these all points we have learnt yesterday. Okay, so let's begin with our today's point. As there are the difficulties in using the optical telescopes, which are being made up of lenses, so they are being replaced by using the mirrors. Okay, instead of using the lenses, now they are using the mirrors. Okay, so they are called as the reflecting telescopes. So what are the advantages of this reflecting telescopes? In order to get a bright image of a source, large mirrors are necessary, and it is easier to make large mirrors as compared to large lenses. Okay, the first point is that if you want to get a bright image of the source, okay, if you want to get a clear image of the source, then we have to use large mirrors, okay, instead of using the large lenses. So large mirrors, they can be replaced, they can be used up instead of using the large lenses. Second point, also big mirrors can be made by combining several smaller pieces. Okay, making a big mirror is not a big task. The big mirrors can be made easily by combining several smaller pieces of mirrors. Then, the weight of a large mirror is less than the weight of a lens of same size. Okay, the weight, वजन जो है large mirrors का, it is very less as compared to the weight of the lens. Okay, the images formed by mirrors do not have errors of colors. Okay, this when we replace the lenses by the mirrors, so these mirrors they do not create the error of color. Then, by using these large telescopes, we can see faraway stars and galaxies more easily and clearly. Okay, if we use these large telescopes, okay, which are being made up of mirrors, then we can see the faraway stars and galaxies more clearly and more easily. Okay, so these are the certain advantages of using the mirrors in the telescopes. So these reflecting telescopes are of two types. The one is called as the Newtonian telescope and the other one is called as the Cassegrain telescope. Okay, so let us see one by one. The first one, that is the Newtonian telescope. The Newtonian telescope consists of one concave mirror and one plane mirror. Okay, this is the special feature. What is the characteristic? That is the light rays, the Newtonian telescope, it is made up of one concave mirror and one plane mirror. The concave mirror is used to receive the light coming in from the space. Okay, what is the function? What is the responsibility of the concave mirror? It is used to receive the light which comes from the space. Then these rays are reflected to a small plane mirror. Okay, once the light enters the telescope, when it reaches to the concave mirror, it is passed on to a small plane mirror. Okay, then before these reflected rays they converge at the focus, they are reflected again by a small plane mirror. As a result, they get focused at a point lying on the perpendicular to the axis of telescope cylinder. They pass through the eyepiece and we get a magnified image. If you see this diagram, you will come to know that the light rays which are entering the telescope, they firstly fall on the concave mirror. From the concave mirror, they get reflected towards a small plane mirror, and from the plane mirror, they are being again converged through a eyepiece. Okay, so we can get a magnified image, a clear image by using this Newtonian telescope. Okay, so this is the reflecting type of telescope, that is the Newtonian telescope. Then the next one is the Cassegrain telescope. This telescope is constructed in such a way that it has one concave mirror and one convex mirror. Okay, the basic difference between the Newtonian telescope and Cassegrain telescope is that in case of Newtonian telescope, they are using the plane mirror, and here in case of Cassegrain telescope, they are using the convex mirror. Okay, this is the small difference between them. The concave mirror is used to receive the light rays coming in from the space, as we have seen in case of Newtonian telescope also. What there is the concave mirror used for the collection of the light which comes from the space. Similarly, in case of Cassegrain telescope also, the light rays which comes from the space, it is being collected with the help of a concave mirror. Then these light rays are reflected from the concave mirror towards a small convex mirror. This is the difference. What? That once they light rays, they get reflected from the concave mirror, they reach towards a convex mirror. Okay. Then these light rays are reflected from the concave mirror towards a small convex mirror. The convex mirror reflects the light back towards a concave mirror. These light rays pass through a small hole at the center of the concave mirror to an eyepiece situated at the back of a concave mirror. The eyepiece gives us the magnified image of the source. Okay. Once these light rays, when they get reflected from the convex mirror, they again fall on the concave mirror, and from the concave mirror they are getting again reflected back. Okay, and they emerge out through the uh, eyepiece, and we can get the magnified image of the source. Okay, so this is the Cassegrain telescope. Then radio telescopes. Now what are radio telescopes? Many heavenly bodies emit radio waves in addition to the visible radiation. Okay, as we have seen the different types of radiation. So there are also the radio waves which are being emitted from the space, right? So in order to study them, so for studying them, a proper radio telescopes are being established. They are being created. Okay, we cannot see this radiation with our eyes. Hence, a special type of telescope is used to receive this rays. Okay, the radio waves which are being emitted from the space, these radio waves we cannot see them clearly. Okay, so we need to take the help of a radio telescope. So, how it is made up of? It is made from one or more dishes of a particular parabolic shape. Okay, here in the picture you can see the dishes are being used, and these dishes are parabolic in shape. Okay, the incident radio waves are reflected by these dishes and converge at the focus. Once these radio waves, they are being reflected by these dishes, and they get converged, they get collected at the focus. Okay, then a radio receiver is placed at the focal point. Okay, a radio receiver, it is being placed at the focal point, and the information gathered by this receiver is passed on to a computer which analyzes it and constructs an image of the source. Okay, whatever the information which is being collected, it is uh, it is collected by this receiver, and from the receiver it is passed on to the computer where it is being analyzed, and the proper image it is being constructed of that source. Okay, so this is about radio telescope. Then there are the giant meter wave radio telescope. It is also called as GMRT. What is GMRT? GMRT stands for giant meter wave radio telescope. Okay, so by its name only we'll understand giant. Giant means very large. A large radio telescope called as the Giant Meter Wave Radio Telescope has been erected at Narayangaon near Pune. Okay, where is this GMRT present? It is established at Narayangaon near Pune. It uses the radio waves having wavelengths of about a meter coming from the planets and stars to study those heavenly bodies. Okay, what it is being useful for? It is useful for studying the radio waves. Okay, which are being having a wavelength which is about a meter, and this radio waves which are being coming from the planets, from the stars, they can be studied easily with the help of this giant meter wave radio telescope. This telescope is actually a collection of 30 dishes, each having a diameter of 45 meter. Okay, what is this GMRT? It is a collection of 30 dishes. Okay, these 30 dishes, they are being arranged together. Okay, and they are having a diameter of about 45 meter. It is called as a giant telescope as the arrangement of the 30 dishes is over an area of about 25 kilometer. Okay, this project, the GMRT, it is being expanded on a big area of about 25 kilometer. In this 25 kilometer of area, 30 dishes are being arranged. Okay, so this is called as the giant telescope. okay, because it is occupying a large space. Then GMRT has been made by Indian scientists and engineers at a minimum cost. Okay, this is the special feature that this GMRT, it is being made by Indian scientists and engineers and in a very low cost. Okay, at a very minimum cost. So it's a great achievement for all of us. Then it is a world standard research facility. Scientists study the solar system, solar winds, pulsars, supernova, interstellar hydrogen clouds, etc. with the help of the GMRT. Scientists from all over the world come to India to make use of this facility. Okay, it is a proud feeling for all of us that all over the world India is that place where all the scientists from the world they come here to study the supernova, pulsars, interstellar hydrogen clouds, okay, or the solar wind, solar system. These all things can be studied with the help of this GMRT, which is being placed at the Narayangaon near Pune. Okay, so all the scientists from the world they come to India to make use of this facility. Okay, that is GMRT. So this was all that which we have to learn today. Okay, so let's revise once again what we have learned today. We have seen the reflecting telescopes. The reflecting telescopes are being made with the help of the mirrors. Okay, the telescopes which are being made from the lenses, they are being replaced by using the mirrors. Okay, and these large mirrors, they are having certain advantages as we can get the clear image if we use the telescopes which are being made up of mirrors. Okay, also they give us the a bright or clear image. There is no any error of colors. Okay, then we can study the stars and galaxies more clearly and more easily when we use this type of reflecting telescopes. Okay, then we have seen that the reflecting telescopes are of two types. The first one that is called as the Newtonian telescope. The Newtonian telescope, it is made up of a concave mirror and it is also using a small plane mirror. The light rays which are coming from the space, they are reflected by the concave mirror and these rays are again reflected by a small plane mirror. As a result, they get focused at a point perpendicular to the axis of the telescope cylinder and they pass through the eyepiece and we get a magnified image of the source. Okay, so this diagram of the Newtonian telescope, it is very very important. Okay, also this explanation you can write it by studying the diagram clearly. If you understand this diagram, you can make the answer in your own words. Okay, so for that purpose you need to know that in case of Newtonian telescope a proper concave mirror is being used and the light rays once they fall on this concave mirror, they are being reflected from the concave mirror towards a small plane mirror and from this plane mirror they are being again converged at a common common entrance where it exits out from the eyepiece and we can get the clear image of the source. Okay, that is of the Newtonian telescope. Then in the same way, we have seen that Cassegrain telescope. So here in case of Cassegrain telescope, the light rays coming from the space, they are reflected by a concave mirror